Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Black Real Estate Dialogue podcast. Very excited for this episode today. Today with me, I have George Gipson from Vero Beach, Florida. George, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man.
For sure. And so first, start off with telling us about what your childhood was like and what you saw or what you didn't see that shaped your view of building wealth.
All right. To start out, I was raised up in North Carolina, small town. We had one Walmart, one gas station, basically. And that's where I was raised at from until I turned about in fifth grade. That's in the fifth grade. That's when I kind of transcended to Florida with my dad's side of the family. And it was totally opposite, because being raised up in North Carolina, everybody got off at 5 o'clock, watched The Young and the Restless, 5 to 6, and then, ate dinner. Let's do it again tomorrow. So I come to Florida, it was totally different. My family, it was more business people. So when I first get here, my dad, he had a bar. So he running the bar. My grandparents, they had rental properties. Grows. In Florida, grows a big thing. So I come from, at 4 or 5 o'clock, everybody get off work and be in the yard to my dad, he at home all day or in and out all day. So just think about high school. It's hard to bring a girl down because you don't know when your parents come back. You don't have no set schedule, So it was like, man, my dad lived a weird life, He showed up to every basketball game. So that was like the beginning of, I didn't realize it, but that was like how I view life now, like working and like business, making your money work for you.
For sure. Must have been really cool as a kid. Just seeing, you probably see your friends around, their parents go to work and they not, they can't come to stuff. But it must have been very interesting for you as a kid. Everyone was always around, they have their businesses and they're working on things. They're here, they're there. But for the important moments, they were around. And, having those businesses, having those rental properties gave them the opportunity to control their time, it seems.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody, when they raised up a certain way, you think everybody raised up like that. So, I didn't really look at it how I look at it now, but back then I thought that was normal. Like, you got a basketball game, your parents come, or you got an event at school. Like, I remember when they used to come to events during the middle of the day at school, like football and stuff. But I thought that was kind of normal, maybe almost, because it was just how we was raised.
Definitely, for sure. So, why did you decide to pursue real estate as a path to building wealth?
All right, that's a deep question. Why did I choose real estate? All right, let's think. All right, first of all, I didn't really choose real estate. I was working at the post office, which was like, everybody. I went to college, graduated, worked little jobs, ended up at the post office being a mail carrier. So while I was doing the mail thing, the first year I worked there, it's my first time. Anybody first time making, let's say maybe 40, 50 grand a year, it's an exciting time. So that first year I worked there, we bought the cars, we bought a house, bought a dog. No, we already had a dog, but we bought the house with the picket fence. We bought it, right? We was living that. And after that first year, I realized I got 29 more years to do this, and everybody laughing like, oh, we'll see it. We'll be out of here in like 4 years. And I'm like, man, I can't do this for 29 years. So that's when like the wheels started turning, like it got to be a better way. So I I actually discovered the podcast while delivering mail. And I discovered the Bigger Pockets podcast, which I know everybody should know about that by now. Bigger Pockets podcast. It's like #1 real estate. If you listen to every episode, I'm pretty sure you're going to buy a rental property. It's probably like a high rate. And that's what I did. I discovered the podcast, and for 4 years I listened to the podcast and while I'm delivering mail. Next thing you know, I built up the courage and saved up the money to do my first investment.
For sure. And what was that first investment like? Can you walk us through that process?
All right. This the part where you can start. Everybody got their own advantages in life, right? So when you listen to this, think about your unique situation. all right, I listen to all the podcasts, and basically when you listen to all these different people come on and tell their story, you basically imagine yourself having a tool belt, and each person is a tool. So I got a hammer, I got a screwdriver, I got whatever, another tool, right? So I got all these tools. So what I pictured was I already had a house, and guess what happened? The house appreciated. So I'm like, what can I do? It don't cost you. I talked to the realtor. She said, oh, it's free to sell your house. I mean, it don't cost you anything, you know, you just list it. If it don't sell, it don't sell. You should have told me that. I can just list it at whatever price I want. So she said, yeah. So we came up on a number where I make this set amount of money. I started out right there. That's like most people. They don't care what they sell it for. They want to know how much I'm making. So I'm like, if I can make this much money, I'll sell it. So I put it on the market. I was like most people at a high price, right? So it was on the market. We had for our first property, we had 25 showings, and and that's over like a 4-month period. So my wife, she had gave up. She was like, let's just take it off the market. But at this point, I'm like all the way in. I'm like, man, we gotta sell. I ain't got the motive. Like, we get a new house. So we had 25 showings, but we ended up selling it, and we made a pretty decent profit, you know? So I was like, dang, it'll take me like a half a year at the post office just to make this much money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the first initial purchase. I mean, that's the first time I thought like an investor and acted on it. So I basically lived in my house for a year and a half, and we ended up selling it, making like 20, 30 grand, you know?
Wow.
So I was like, I'm addicted.
For sure. And did those funds help with like your purchase of an investment property?
Yeah. So, all right. And that's the thing. When you listen to everything that people are saying that's already done it, it worked. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So basically, by me listening to podcasts, I knew I should have purchased a multifamily first. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna get out this house. We're gonna buy a multifamily, because at that point, I had car payments, I had a house payment, and we were just saving, you know, like a little bit of money. So I'm like, we can live for free. We buy a duplex. So immediately we move out. I start looking for duplexes, anything 2 units to 4 units, because with that, a 4 unit or less, you can get an FHA loan and put 3% down. So we're looking for duplexes, triplexes, whatever, for like January to probably like May, man. And none of the numbers made sense. Like, I have been analyzing deals so I could run the numbers, and none of the deals, like, they weren't coming out where it was a good deal. So I came across a house with we went to look at it. It said mother-in-law suite attached. So I was like, let's go check this one out. We walk in throughout the whole house, right? Look at the whole house. I'm already sold, right? I'm like, this is the house, right? You know, when you see a house, you can feel it in your gut. Like, I picture myself living here. So I do the whole house, and then the lady was like, oh, you can go in the other part. I walk down. It's a converted garage. So they converted the garage into a mother-in-law suite. I walked in, and it's a brand new, like, mini studio, kitchen, bathroom, brand new, living room and bedroom together. But I'm like, asking price, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I seen it. The lady wasn't the previous person. She was just using the whole house. Me, I knew immediately I was going to rent that part out. So what was the question? I forgot.
Oh no, I was asking if part of those funds from the sale helped with the
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's what it was. I took those funds that I made from the house and purchased. Basically, I turned a single family house into a duplex. So I purchased the house. I live in one side, and I would rent the other side out. And that was what I did. I mean, and that's only 3%. So even if you make 30 grand, 3% of 200 grand, that's like $7,000, I believe, you know? So just imagine how far you can go, how big you can go with just 3% down.
Wow. There's a couple things I want to pull out of there. So the first is you bought something initially. You had a single family home, you purchased it, but you were still learning. You were still listening to podcasts, investing in yourself, investing in your education. And then you realize, hey, this house has appreciated. This could be an opportunity for us to, to sell it and do what I thought we should have done in the first place. Now that I know. And then you took money and you saw an opportunity. You saw a house and you saw the suite on the land as well. Not everybody would see it as, wow, I can make money off of the the mother-in-law suite. So I think it points to a lot of things. It points to, you took a lot of time to listen to podcasts, to learn information, and then you applied the information. You know what I mean?
Correct.
There's also no wasted experience. You could have said, oh my goodness, I should have bought a duplex. What was me? But you said, you know what? Let's see what I can do with what I have, and that
Right.
got you to the point to be able to get the next property. So I think that's very cool.
Yeah, and that's why you can't really, when people be like, how'd you do it? It's not really no direct answer. I don't care if it's a billion people in the world. There's no direct answer to a way to success, because a lot of things I see like that. The lady who lived here before, she didn't do that. She didn't rent it out, and then I came and seen that because like you said, I've been learning. So I created something out of nothing, basically.
For sure. For sure. And what was it like being a landlord for the first time?
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. Even though my dad was a landlord, I still made mistakes. Let's see. Some of the main mistakes I did was basically like people hand me cash and I'm like, oh, go move in, like go stay. Like next thing you know, they calling, oh, this broke. I'm like, and then I ain't have no paper, I ain't signed no lease. Like, I'm like, oh, I just need to stay here for a month. I'll give you $1,000. Next thing you know, they give me half, $450. Now they got the brother or somebody in emergency, and now they late. I'm like, I made mistakes, and that's the thing about when you become a landlord. I'm realizing now you want to overdo it basically. So overdo your rules, because if you don't, if there's any lack in the leach, the tenant can take advantage of it.
For sure. And how many years ago was that purchase?
That purchase was 2 years ago.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how have you changed as a landlord since those first couple of experiences?
Well, now all right, this is for me. I can't say it for everybody, but try not to communicate too much in text messages, because it create a lot of time when you could have just picked up the phone, and it create more of like a friend, instead of business. Because then once people become your friend, they can tell you the sob story, and then you feel bad for them, and now, it's just different. So I would say, put everything on paper, signature, exactly what you want. Take pictures. If you just like fixed up a place, take pictures of it. So you have pictures. So when they get ready to move out and they say, oh, this was already like that, I got pictures. Like being more organized. That was me. I'm like, I'm young. I'm like, all right, they gonna pay me $500 a day for a week. Give me the money. Not thinking, oh, they might break this, or you know what I mean, this and that, or they might treat it way different than I would. So that's one of the things. Have a lease, a full lease, and application fee, do background credit check, mandatory.
For sure, for sure. Do you use any type of software? Like, what is your process typically like? Like when screening candidates, doing background checks and collecting rent and stuff.
Well, right. I mean, right. All right. For the mother-in-law, that was Airbnb, so
Oh,
that's a little bit different.
okay.
Yeah, that was Airbnb, and even with Airbnb, people be like, "Oh, would you rent it out?" Stuff like that. That's how that ended up happening. But far as background and credit check, you don't do that on Airbnb. But for my other rental properties, I inherited how many tenants? I inherited one. I got a duplex. I inherited one tenant, and the other tenant, I didn't run any background credit check. I'm kind of like old school, and that's kind of messed me up too. Cause my dad, he have a piece of paper, you know, cross out stuff, fill in this, change the date. Hey, this your lease, sign it, boom. And that's kind of what I did. And I mean, I ain't gonna say judge a person, but trust your intuition. So just the other day, I'm working on a house, right? And the lady came up and she was like, I got my Section 8 voucher. Is this house for rent? I'm like, oh yeah, because I was finna go down to the Section 8 housing authority today to look for to put it on the list. So, I kind of take like the universe and God working in my favor. Like this lady got her voucher. I see her car neat. It ain't junky. She got kids. She seemed like an honest person. Even though I'm still gonna do the background credit check, I try to use my intuition, not to judge them, but just going off my first instinct. you know, and then I'm thinking the universe, oh, God sent me this person.
Mhm.
She really need a place. I'm finna rent it out, and her voucher the exact rent I was gonna put it. So I kind of
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Talk to us more about the Airbnb. I know it's something that's very popular now, and is giving people an opportunity to house hack in a different way. So we'd just love to hear from you what your experience has been like on Airbnb and why you decided to use that strategy.
All right. The reason I chose that strategy is because Airbnb make almost double the amount of rent. So if you live in
Oh,
like the city, well, you didn't think that.
no.
I mean, if you live in the city or like in a downtown area,
Mhm.
Airbnb, you know, it's by the night. So in my case, this house is right next. The mother-in-law is right next door. So it's nothing for us to go over there and wife to clean it, you know, and come back. That's like, and then you're getting paid by the night. So you could be charging, say, $70 a night, and you probably on average doing 25 nights out the month, you know, on average probably.
Mhm.
But it's a lot more than rent. But the main thing about Airbnb is if the location. If you're in the right location, Airbnb is like a gold mine right now because it's cheaper than a hotel for the most part, and it's booming right now. It's kind of like what was that stuff everybody started buying at one time? It was like fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some with the stock market.
Was it recently?
Yeah,
Was it Tesla?
Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
stuff.
Oh god, like the crypto and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I say Airbnb like the Bitcoin of real estate. You know what I mean? Like it's like the highest degree of income for the most part.
For sure, for sure. Have there been any downsides to Airbnb?
Yes, yes. The downside to Airbnb, you do have to. It's more on a daily. It's like a hotel. It's daily, so you got to check people in. You don't have to check them in. You put a lockbox on the door, or whatever. But you got to clean it. That's the worst part about Airbnb. You have to clean it, or you have to hire out somebody to clean it. So what I do is to prevent a lot of like one night stands. I do 3 night minimum. So when you do a 3 night minimum, you get more of a working person or a family that's coming on vacation. So I do like a 3 night minimum, and you do sometimes they have people they book. They might say, "I got 2 guests." Okay, you got 2 guests. You got 3 beds, 4 beds. Why are the beds messed up? You know, so
Yeah,
they'll take 2 guests and they'll have more people there, and then make more of a mess. You know, I had some. We just had a house with Airbnb, and it's the first guest. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they played beer pong or what, but we got there and like we had all brand new sheets. And you know, for Airbnb, you put white sheets so people know it's clean. I mean, it was throw up, blood. It was crazy. And then we had 20 washcloths. They texted us and said, any more washcloths? We were like, you used all 20? You know?
that doesn't even make any sense.
Yes. And that was the first time it was glad we went our first experience getting Airbnb, but that was our first time Airbnb an entire house.
Mhm.
We was like, man, we got to raise the cleaning fee on this, you
Yeah,
know, because it was just terrible. But recently, I mean, I upped the price because if you lower the price, evidently you're going to get not lower person, but you're going to get more of a party goer. You
mhm,
raise the price, you get more people, you know, that's not really going to tear your place up, you know.
for
So that's
sure,
what we did. We raised the cleaning fee and I raised the price. So you might not book as many night, but at least you're protecting your investment.
for sure, for sure. And so where does your portfolio stand now? How many units are you at now?
Right now, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dang. No, it's probably about eight
Yeah,
houses, 1 duplex.
nice, nice. So a
Yeah.
mix of single family and duplex.
Yes, it's all single family and
Gotcha.
1 duplex. But I mean, even
Nice.
my primary residence that I'm eventually finna move out, it's 2 units basically because the mother-in-law. Because
Right,
when I move, you'll rent both units out, you know.
right,
So that would be a double. Right now it's 1.
right. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So how did you grow your portfolio to that point in such a short period of time? Like, what were some of your strategies that you use. Because that's, I mean, that's very impressive in just a couple of years to have eight doors.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna have to sign up for my course. It's No, it's a plan. That's what all the gurus do, right? All right.
Yeah.
Sign up for this course, $999.
The link right here.
Yeah, the link right here.
Expires at midnight.
Yeah. See, I gotta figure out how to do that stuff. But nah, I mean, I was like, some people are just meant to do certain things. So in life, like I was in a mail truck, working and getting paid by the hour, and it sucked. Like life was like, it's not me. So when I finally, I quit my job, right? I quit the post office, and I thought my plan was to quit the post office with like 10 rental properties. When I quit, I think I had 3, right? So I quit the post office with 3 rental properties, and it wasn't even close enough to provide for me. It was just like, man, I'm done, which I don't advise, but I was done, right?
Yeah.
So basically, how I did 2 of them I bought in the same month, and basically, how can I say it? I saved up once I moved in the new house. I was basically living for free. We paid off our cars, and then the mother-in-law took care of the whole, shebang. So basically, imagine working, and the only thing you're paying for is your food, basically, food and the gas. So I started saving up, and it's easy to save up when you don't have housing and cars. Only thing you spending money on is food. So basically, we saved up, and we started buying properties. My wife kept her job, and I purchased the duplex first because I was determined to get a duplex. I was going to auctions, everything, but that first duplex, that was a tough one. I had to negotiate a lot on that, but got the duplex. After the duplex, I partnered up with one of my other friends, bought an Airbnb, and I mean, yeah, partnering up. I say that's how I scale so fast.
Got you.
Yeah.
So a couple of those, like you partner with someone else on them.
Yeah, and that was able to help me, because basically what people should realize, if you got people with the same common mindset, and I know the best thing to do is put your money together, because it's gonna go a lot farther. So instead of you putting down say 20 grand, now you only got to put down 10 grand.
Yeah.
So now you can buy 2 of them if you got the 20 grand, because you put down 10, you still got 10 left. So let's go buy another one. So basically, that's why I looked at it. I mean, you partner up. You don't want to get too thin, but if you can partner up and still have meat on the bone, I think that was how I was able to scale faster, I guess.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it's powerful, man, to partner up. You can go faster together. It sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. You probably, if you just by yourself, you probably would have maybe 4 or 5. But now you are where you're at, and I'm sure it helps overall just having a partner, helping out to make sure things are growing.
Yeah.
So that's good, man.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage of having a partnership, I believe, is because I like to find deals. I'm a deal finder. That's what I do. I find deals. Then once I actually get it, it's not even fun no more. It's kind of like chasing a girl. Like once you got it, it's like, you know what I mean? But yeah. I like chasing deals. So I find a deal, and my partner, he working full-time job still, so he's not doing that. So he's more like the analytical data, get the taxes, get the insurance, and handle all that. So if you find somebody who like y'all kind of like, if they doing this in life, it makes sense for them to do that, and then they also excel at that. It's like kind of like the perfect matchup.
For sure. And what does your wife think of all this? How involved is she, and what does she think of how things have been able to grow over the past couple of years?
Well, I mean, basically, I mean, we were both. I was learning, but she seen me learning, so it was kind of like, even like think about last podcast I did. Like a lot of people close to me didn't even listen to it. They like, we with you every day. We know it already, basically, So she know I've been listening, studying, and she listened to everything I'm saying. So she kind of getting like a third ear to hear, and it's like kind of just like nobody else gonna believe it too. So when you tell people at your job you're gonna do this and do that, and then they're not gonna believe it. So having my wife on board, we were both like, she motivated me to keep going, because she like, no, it's really gonna happen. Because everybody else, a lot of times, like when God working through you, it don't make sense.
Mhm.
So for you to say, I'm finna quit my job, you got a child on the way, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
only 30 years old. What you gonna do the rest of your life? It's like you really can't explain it.
Yeah, for sure. That's powerful. No, it's interesting. Um, a lot of times when people, a lot of what you're doing is unfamiliar to them, to most of our community. It's something we haven't heard before for a lot for, and I feel like now the age we're in, a lot more of us are taking this path to build wealth, financial freedom through real estate, growing a portfolio. And for a lot of us, it's very new. We didn't always have family, or we didn't have exposure to that kind of thing. And so the reason I'm saying that is because when you bring up something like that to people who have not been exposed to it or who don't believe it's possible, it can get kind of weird. It can be kind of hard to talk to people, quite honestly. So I think it's really great
Yeah,
that you have a wife who sees the vision.
yeah, it's that's why I call my podcast the New American Dream, because the old American Dream, you go work for 30 years and then you retire and travel or whatever. But yeah, it is unconventional. So a lot of times, if you're talking to somebody, that's why I say right now the smartest people on earth are probably 25 to 35, because they, like, we played outside hide and go see, but then we also got on social media. Like, you got to both. Like, I was in the woods younger, and then I'm also know how to use technology. So it's powerful in this day and time. And that's like a lot of people working from home, or you don't know what they do because they was born in this millennial time where, women take pictures, I think, and make money on Instagram, whatever.
Yeah,
So it's like, if my cousin did that, my grandma like, you need to get a job.
yeah,
But she won't know, like, no, people making a lot of money off just taking pictures.
for sure, for sure. So how do you find deals? What is your strategy to find deals?
Um, well, my strategy for the most part is it's kind of like, mm, how can I explain it? Like, I'm a realtor too, so I,
Okay.
I I help other people buy houses. So I'm in the field. So a lot of times when I'm in the field, I might not be looking, but if I notice something that's a good deal, I'm gonna go to it. You know. So like even the Airbnb, the first Airbnb I bought, I wasn't even looking for a house for myself. I was helping a client find a house, and the client didn't want that house, and I knew that that house was underpriced by like 30,000.
Wow.
So I'm like, I got to figure out a way to buy it. And that's the thing about it. When you find something that's a good deal, it's easier to find the money for it. If I tell you right now, um, I'll sell you my brand new truck for $2,000. Even though if you don't have $2,000, somebody would loan you $2,000 for a brand new truck, because you can just
Right.
sell it for 10,000, whatever.
Right.
So that's how it is. I mean, I'm in the field every day, like, because when I was at the post office, I was in the real estate, but I kind of like had one leg in, one leg out. So
Hmm.
I was fine. But now every day I'm out here doing real estate. So I mean, I look on Realtor. I got my little search criteria. People should set it up to what you're looking for, like under 100,000, um, multifamily, single family, and I just hit that throughout the day and look at stuff, and I looked at so many deals. I know when to go farther.
Right.
Like to look at it more.
Right, for sure. And I think it's very cool that you are a realtor, because now you have access. You see what's going on. And like you said, somebody didn't want it, but you knew the comps. You knew it was underpriced. And I think it's complementary, because you're in the market, you're investing in that market, you're also helping people. And so it makes sense. It makes sense. It complements one another, and I can definitely tell how it would give you more access to information that will help you in your own investments.
Right, and like right now it's extremely popular for people to get a real estate license, and I want
Mhm.
people to, like, getting your real estate license is not gonna make you increase your net worth.
Mhm.
So like, it's a million people trying to be real estate agents, and they becoming a real estate agent so they can become a real estate investor. you know, and it's kind of how can I say it? It's not worth it to everybody jumping on the same bandwagon. It's not gonna work. It's gonna be a lot more agents, and most of them not gonna be successful. You know, so I don't think it's necessary to get your license. But in my case, it was just I was still at the post office when I got my real estate license.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. And tell us more about the market down in Vero Beach.
Yeah,
The
I
real
mean,
estate market.
yeah, I mean the market down here is it's not a big city. So like Orlando, West Palm Beach, Miami, you can't even find a house for under 100,000. So in my market, it's more of a small town. You find houses for $60,000-$70,000, and they probably rent for like 1,200, 1,100. It's not super expensive. Is that good or bad? Why are you looking like that?
That's good. That's great. That's a great
That's a good
ratio.
deal.
Yeah.
So you buy it for 70,000 and you rent it for 1,200.
Yeah. Cause I invest in Ohio, and it's a single family, but it rents for like 900. So that's why when you said 12, 1,300, my eyes like, whoa, my eyes popped open. It's pretty
Yeah.
solid rent.
I mean, see, and I got like a lot of people. If you have a job, you have a backup plan, so you can buy a skimp deal or whatever, close cut. In my case, it's like I don't work no more. I don't have no backup plan, so I need to get good deals. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
so. I mean, what I was gonna say. I mean, so the prices I'm looking at, is right around there, 60, 70. And then I might put $5,000, $10,000 in it and then rent for that.
Right. It's pretty good. And when you buy your deals, do you do like full rehabs? Do you do like small rehabs? Like what is your preference if you have one?
My preference is to paint it, mow the yard, and put a for rent sign out. That's like the best deal, you know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to. The most recent deal I just did, that was the biggest rehab I did. I had to basically do a brand new full kitchen, total bathroom, and that was the main thing, like total rehab. And then we had to paint inside and out everywhere. So that was like the biggest rehab. And for the most part, I think I wouldn't want to go too much over $5,000 or $10,000 as far as a gigantic rehab, because if you don't know how to do a lot of the work, it can start to add up quick.
For sure. What was your experience like with that particular rehab, especially doing like the brand new kitchen? What was that like for you?
So first of all, you wanna get at least three what you call it, estimates when you're doing like a major kitchen rehab, bathroom rehab, because if you brand new to this, you probably don't have no idea if it's high or low. So if you get 3 comps and you start asking other try to find people that know you, because they're more likely to not try to screw you over, do you wrong, or know somebody in your family. So a lot of people I use, either my dad used them before, or what I mean, we kind of know somebody in close range. So, and one of the best things I learned this time too is anything that need to be done by other people, you should do that first, because like right now I had to wait on the cabinets get put in, and I did all the stuff that I had my crew to do first, in which we can do it. The people that you got to rely on, always do that first. So if you got to get tub, plumbing, and all that, and because people, they might have, hey, we'll get to you in 3 weeks. I'm like, 3 weeks, that's too far. I'm trying to have this thing rented out. So as soon as you get a property under contract, whatever the major issue that you're not going to be doing, definitely contract that out or get it taken care of first. Because paying, you know what I mean, if you're doing it or you got people that can easily do that, you shouldn't be stressed.
For sure. For sure. And your dad invests in the same city, right?
Yes. And yeah, he here with me too. So basically, he's getting older, so I'm just kind of like picking up, you know what I mean, trying to keep it going.
For sure. For sure. You think you might transition over and start helping out more with his properties as he kind of retires or works a bit less?
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, he kind of like sold a lot of his, so the ones that he do have, I manage them too.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Do you manage all your current rentals as well?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I got the time right now, so
Mhm.
I manage them all. I manage it all. I mean, I got guys to help me, but for the most part, it's me. And then eventually, once we start making enough profit, I can, get me a flight to Hawaii and we can let somebody else do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's the future looking like? What are you hoping to grow towards and do with the portfolio? And also, if you have like any other entrepreneurial ventures you're getting into or you're doing it as well.
Right. I mean, and we had a beauty supply store before all this took off. And that's what I realized. You realize you have to, like, people think when you fail is a failure. And what a failure is just a learning experience.
Hmm.
So we had a beauty supply store in which many people probably say fail because we closed it. But I learned that I don't want to sit in a store all day. I like to be out in the real world moving, and so we closed the beauty supply store down. So my like moving forward, basically I've been doing mostly rental properties. We finna start doing more flips. Instead of just keeping all of them, we're gonna start go ahead and sell some of them. And I think, like, I mean, you have to do to have a balance, because if you just keep buying rental properties, like, I don't care what like all the gurus say, like, there's no way you're gonna just keep buying rental properties without selling. Like, it's like, it don't make sense. So I think it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a lot of hard work. It takes money, and when people say, oh, it takes $10,000 to fix it, you might well just say it takes 17, 18. That's what I'm learning, because every time I say I probably can fix it for 5, it come out more. It's kind of like going
Hmm.
out. You think you're gonna spend $50, you like, I spend 80. You know,
Yeah,
so that's what I mean. I'm learning for it. So moving forward, we just gonna start flipping some of the properties, and then eventually, like, down the road, turn to single families, get rid of them, and purchase apartments.
for sure. That's the goal. That's the
Yeah,
goal. Less
yeah,
headaches.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but like, that's what I be telling people too. Like, cause I listened, like, when I was listening to, even reading books, like reading a book, right? If you read a book, that's why I think a lot of people in jail come home and be successful, because when you don't see, like, when you can't look to the side and see what your friends or peers are doing. And that's what happened. When I was in the mail truck, I didn't really know, because you working 9, 10 hours a day. I didn't realize everybody else wasn't learning or just doing things. So my friends were the people on these podcasts that people listen to. They were my, like, friends. Like, they like, I got this, I got that. I'm like, I ain't got none of that. So when I'm coming out to the real world, I'm like, I ain't doing nothing because they doing this. So now, once I started doing it, I realized what they were saying is true. Like, it really works if you follow the blueprint.
For sure, for sure. And do you have any books that you recommend? That or business books or just different resources that have helped you out?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The newest book I'm reading is good. Ah, doing good business the biblical way. It's
Okay.
it's good business the biblical way. So it's basically, we probably can put it in the show notes, but it's
Yeah.
basically doing business in the Bible, because the Bible has a lot of business in it about money too, and people don't realize it. But it's a book. A guy, he's a billionaire too, and he was on the TD Jakes TV show, and
Hmm.
I didn't even know. My wife, she ordered the book. It showed up. I'm like, where did this book come from? I started reading it. Man, it's basically, that's why I say the universe. You gotta listen carefully. That's why you can't. There's a lot of times you need quiet time, because the universe could be telling you to do something. Like, if you always thinking about something over and over, every day you wake up thinking about it. I mean, every day. It's not one day you don't think about it. If you go try to do that thing, because you already thinking about it, if you go do it, you're gonna be successful at it, because you, like, obsessed with it.
Hmm.
And that's like real estate. Like, I was just, every day I listen to something with real estate, or I do something with real estate. It's like, no matter what happens, like, so for people, you gotta listen. Like, so I'm telling you that you can't ask other people opinions, because if the spirit or the universe telling you to do something, and you go ask Joe Blow, hey, you think I should buy that car right there for $800? man, I wouldn't buy that car. But they don't know, like, that car, it looked rough, but it got a brand new transmission in it. They just looking at the outer side. You got more information that they don't see. So they think it's a dumb idea. Because I just tell people at the post office, you know, what I'm going to do and this and that. And they say, yeah, you'll be here in 34 years. You know, we'll call and check on you. So it's like, you can't really tell people ideas. You got to just keep your head focused and do it. And that's one of the books. Yeah, that's the main book I'm reading recent. Everybody know Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. That's like a beginner book. You know, that should be mandatory before you even listen to this podcast. Go Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Man, I really like that you said that. You know, a lot of times what people don't understand, they just shoot down. So it's like, oh, you know, you buying a rental property. Oh, but, you know, what if the tenants don't pay? What if something breaks? And all these things. It's like a lot of people rather to have some safety than take any risk at all. They rather just stay where they are doing what they've been doing their whole life instead of taking a risk, getting uncomfortable and doing something and trying something else. You know what I mean? So I do agree with your point. Like sometimes you can't share your dreams. You can't share your goals with everybody. Everybody's not going to see the vision. And, you know, if you sometimes
you like-minded people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree with you 100%. You know, and everyone's just not going to see it. Everyone can't go, you know, everyone can't this path to wealth. And sometimes, you know, when you reach the point or when you do something that people can kind of say, oh, wow, he actually is doing it. Maybe they can come then. But in the beginning or as you're working towards, everyone's not really going to be along for the ride, man.
Yeah. And my brother, he got on me about that because even like we go to stores and I see somebody working at Walmart, they've been there for like 10 years. And I don't get it. And my brother, like, you can't be harsh on them because they just don't know. You know, that might be what make them happy. Mm-hmm. So you can't really judge other people because they don't want to be invest in real estate or be an entrepreneur. Right. Like, cause I try to tell everybody invest in real estate. You know what I mean? But some people like, what if the tenants don't pay? And it's like they just don't get it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And what are a couple things you would say to a new investor? So say it's someone who is interested in investing in real estate, but they're kind of nervous, like they're kind of scared. They don't really know where to start. Like what are some tips you would give to somebody like that?
Learn as much as possible, because if you move into a deal confident, I moved to a deal confident because I listened and learned so much. I analyzed so many deals. So it's kind of like, if you're good at something, you're not afraid to play against somebody in the game, because you already know, hey, I'm low key, I'm the baddest at this game. So they don't even know what they're getting into. So get like that about real estate. Just read, listen to podcasts, and once you got the knowledge. I mean, knowledge is there, and then you can take action. So a lot of people, they be like, oh, I gotta save up this and get my credit right. That's the perfect time to start learning, because you're not even ready yet. So learn. So when you do get your credit and your money right, you can take action, because, you know, good deals don't last long. So if it's a good deal, I'm pretty sure it's not going to last long. So you got to be able to recognize it quick and pull the trigger, because if you keep waiting around, I'm definitely going to have an offer in and it's going to be on a contract pending, you know?
For sure. Awesome. And where can people reach you if they want to learn more about what you're doing, connect with you, and perhaps maybe even in your area and want to link up with you? Where can people reach you?
The main place you can find me is on Instagram under Gipson Money Talk. If you have any deals, well, I shouldn't say that, but you can email me, at georgesellhomes@gmail.com. You can reach me on that email. Also, I have a podcast called The New American Dream Podcast. You can check it out on there. But the main place, if you're trying to get in touch, is email or Instagram.
For sure. Well, George, pleasure having you on, man. Y'all definitely follow him on Instagram. Check out his podcast. Email him if you're in his area, or if you just want to connect more and learn more about what he's doing. Definitely hit him up.
And one other thing, if you listen to the numbers, like living in California and living in New York and stuff, definitely DM me to get on the list, because I mean, Florida, the prices are a lot cheaper. Maybe in all southern states, but it's definitely deals down here. 60, 70 grand easily rent for $1,000, and you can have the opportunity to purchase if people want to invest.
For sure. Y'all hear it. If y'all want to invest in Florida, he's your guy.
Right.
For sure. Thank you again, man. And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Black Real Estate Dialogue podcast. Looking forward to putting this one out. You can find us on Instagram at Black Real Estate Dialogue or on Twitter at Bread Podcast, at BRED Podcast. Look forward to talking to you all soon.